Mike Farrell, Rivals.com here with Clay Helton, USC undefeated head coach. I'll ask him at the very end what he thinks of the playoff rankings, but we won't get into that yet. Let's talk recruiting at signing day. First of all, how difficult is it to balance game week, Pac-12 conference championship, signing day, all this stuff? You've never had to juggle this before.
No, in 26 years of being a college football coach, this has been one of the more hectic weeks that you could possibly have because you know how it is, Mike. Usually you're done with the regular season and the conference championship, and you have that void between that and the bowl games. So to be able to get through early signing period, but to have back-to-back short weeks as far as games, to get an opponent change middle of the week from Washington to Oregon, and decide a class. It's been some late nights, but it's part of the job. We're really happy about today. We're really happy about being in the conference championship game. The Trojans are rolling right now, and it's been a really good fall for us, as well as now a great December as we lead into signing day today and getting ready for a conference championship on Friday.
And I appreciate your time. I do have a few coaches that I asked that wouldn't come on because they're busy preparing for the game, but not Clay Helton. Clay Helton don't care. He has to feel better as we speak about you in the third person about this recruiting year than last year. You guys have a top 10 class. You got two quarterbacks. You got a lot of skill kids, California kids, Texas kids. Tell me how good it feels for USC to sort of be back on top in recruiting.
Yeah, last year, just from a lack of attrition across the board, we were only able to sign 12 kids, and we committed to big men, and 9 of the 12 were O-line, D-line, and that's not necessarily a sexy class, but it's a much needed class when you're trying to win championships and consistently win championships. But it's hard to raise yourself in the rankings just signing basically half of a full class with the limitations that we had scholarship numbers wise. We knew we were going to have a full boat this year. We knew it was a very important year for us because we'll be losing some valuable members of our football team over the next 2 years. So this is the future of USC. And I thought our coaches did a phenomenal job. I really did. In this time period where relationships were built via technology, I thought the greatest gift we could give people is our time, and we gave our time morning, noon, and night, and just to be able to build relationships, and those relationships carried over to today, which is a great signing class, and we've got some more work to do. Obviously, there's some big fish out there as we go into February that we got to compete for, but it was a great start today.
Let's talk about the quarterback situation. Obviously, Slovis is a tremendous quarterback, but the quarterback room is a little thin. Taking 2 4-star quarterbacks, you got Jackson Dart and Miller Moss, is always a tricky balance, I think, and I'm not a coach. Tell me how that balance works for you guys. I mean, they push each other, but are you worried that, one's going to leave? I mean, how does it work with the portal now?
Yeah, the thing that I admire about Jackson and Miller, who were very fortunate to have both kids, and I was extremely impressed with both, is they're not afraid of competition. This is my 11th season here, Mike, and the kids that we've had in that room, they never fear competition. They just want an opportunity and a chance to compete, and the best player plays. And that's the way great quarterbacks are. They don't count the numbers in the room. They just want the opportunity to compete, and they believe in themselves. And these two kids, have not winning championship intangibles. Obviously, they bring the skill set. Their decision making is excellent. Accuracy, timing, those things. But they also produce. You look at Jackson and what he accomplished this year, winning a championship. Obviously, Miller didn't get to play this year, but we saw how productive he was with his junior year, lifting a Bishop Alemany program up. They're 2 elite quarterbacks, and I look forward to watching them compete. And I know they're looking forward to the opportunity. We didn't sign a quarterback last year, so there's this 2-year gap. And I think that both kids saw, man, what an awesome opportunity to have the chance to compete at a very young age in the near future. And so we're very fortunate to have signed both men. Both men are winners, and I'm glad they're coming to us.
Tell me about Texas. We don't usually see USC in Texas. What's going on? You got a good class here from Texas.
Yeah, it started a couple of years ago, if you remember, with Ronald Jones. And Ronald was a big sign for us. I thought him and Aka Cedric Ware really broke the door open for us. And then, with the relationships that we have on our staff with Graham Harrell and Mike Jinks and John David Baker, there's really been some great relationships built. And you looked at last year, getting a Cortland Ford and a Casey Collier, two big O linemen that came to us from Texas that have very bright futures. And then this year, you look at a really talented running back in Brandon Campbell coming to us from Texas. You've got Joseph Manchak, a really tall, big receiver that we feel is going to be a star. Lake McCree, what we call the Y position, that can flex out and be a receiver or attach to be a tight end. Just absolutely, we're thrilled. We're thrilled about him, and then having the opportunity to just garner relationships and bring quality men in. It's been a lot of fun.
That's a really strong defensive back class, and that seemed to be some of your earlier commitments were from defensive backs. How important is that position? I mean, you've got some talented guys back there, but a couple of those guys might be one more year and out.
Yeah, we really felt like we did not sign a DB last year, and had the opportunity to really dive in to the DB pool. And so far, coming across today, we bring three safeties in the room that we really are thankful for, that can make an immediate impact in Anthony Beavers, Kalen Bullock, and Zamarian Gordon. And then you got two coverage people that really can play anywhere on the field, and Prophet Brown and Jalen Smith, two dynamic athletes. So, really talented men that are going to help us, I think, in the immediate future. And I'll go back to Texas. I forgot one man there, and I don't want to miss him, Ty Buchanan, who I think is a phenomenal offensive lineman that I thought we stole out of the state of Texas. I cannot wait to get him here. I want to make sure I say that too.
It's shocking he's from Corpus Christi. There's no connection at USC to Corpus Christi at all, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've had the opportunity to really make a name for ourselves in that state, and it's paying dividends for us right now.
So Prophet's got one of the coolest first names ever, but his nickname is Peanut Butter. Is that one of the best nicknames? It's one of the best nicknames I've heard, and I've been doing this for probably as long as you. And do you know what's behind that nickname? Is it because his hands are sticky? What's the deal?
No, I will say this. He is a phenomenal athlete, and it probably is because he does have great ball skills. I mean, he is as good an offensive player as he is a defensive player. Going to be a great corner here for us, and one of the nicest young men you'll ever meet. He has those captain-like characteristics. So we're glad Peanut Butter is here with us, and we look forward to having a chance to coach him.
And we've already mentioned Joseph Manjak, who was a late flip in Washington State. But the other two wide receivers in your class, Kyron Ware-Hudson was an Oregon commitment, and Michael Jackson, of the famous Jacksons from Vegas. Tell me a little bit about those guys, because Manjak, as you mentioned, is a jack of all trades, tall kid. These guys are a little different.
Yeah, we really looked at last year and said, wow, we're going to lose some talented kids over the next couple of years. We lost to Michael Pittman last year to the NFL. Obviously, you got two older kids in Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyler Vaughns that will have considerations after this season about the NFL. And we really felt that we wanted to bring a variety of wideouts that each one have a different skill set. And so when you talk about Kyron and what he brings, just a physicality and a nature of being able to put his body between the defender and the ball, extremely strong hands. He reminds me of a kid that I got to coach here, Darius Rogers, that just was a great player for us for a number of years. Michael Jackson, it kind of has an Amon-Ra characteristic about him, just a physical strength, but explosiveness and make you miss tendencies. And then, Joseph Manjak, I label him as he's a big man with little man skills. his change of direction, his transition in and out of routes, what he can do after the catch is uncanny for a big man. So each one of them bring a really different skill set, and we like that, especially when you're talking about being a spread offense like we are. So we are very excited about all three, and will be needed with the attrition that we'll have at the position.
And two tight ends in a spread offense are obviously
Mm-hmm.
needed. You got Trigg and McCree, both athletic kids.
Mm-hmm.
McCree's a tall, skinny kid. Trigg's a little bit more filled out. But tell me
Mm-hmm.
about those guys, how they're going to impact
Yeah.
your offense.
Yeah, in this offense, the thing I've learned with Coach Harrell is those guys have to be able to flex out and push the field vertically. It's the number one thing that they have to do is they have to be receivers first. Do they attach to the line some? Yes. But they have to be able to run past a Mike linebacker in cover two. They have to be able to beat matchups on linebackers, out physical a safety that may be covering them. And these two kids can do that. In Michael's case, in Michael Trigg's case, just a dynamic two-sport athlete. I liked him as much in basketball as I did in football. He reminded us of Drake London and what he was doing, and just to see his explosiveness on the court was like you didn't even need to see football field. You were like, yeah, you want that guy right now just for his size and explosiveness. And then Lake, we think is a really great kid that is had an injury going his senior year. We thought was a kid that could develop into something really special. So we're glad to have both of them.
Couple big name guys still out there. I know you can't comment on them, Sierra Wright and Corey Foreman, unless you've got some secret letters in your office. Do you have any secret letters in your office?
Well, I can't talk about any one of them right now, those guys. But obviously, like you said, there is some, and I've learned this in being the head coach here. You have to compete at the highest level, and sometimes that takes time. And you have to be able to save spots for those big fish and compete. I remember, when we signed Brew McCoy and Amon-Ra St. Brown and some guys that came in January and they were going to sign in February, and you have to be able to compete for those guys so you can build championship programs. And so, we've done a good job today thus far of putting 20 kids within our program, but we have some spots that are available that we're competing still for, and it may lead into a future date to be able to get that done. So I like where we sit right now, Mike. I look forward to the future and finishing this class.
Yeah, and a crappy topic here, but since you got the head coaching job, you've been on every hot seat known to man. You're 6-0. You're in the Pac-12 championship, and I think people just put you in there out of habit. How do you overcome that in recruiting, and how do you block all that out?
Well, it's the nature of the job. I mean, when you're sitting at one, it's one of those jobs that year in and year out, the expectations and standards are so high. I love it. It's the reason I love the job, is the excellence that comes with it. And we've had the chance to win a Rose Bowl here, be a Pac-12 champion here, and each and every year you're judged on everything that you do, and that's the beauty of this job. It's one of those 3 or 4 elite jobs in the country, and to be in. And if you let opinion or people talking bad about you rub you the wrong way, that you shouldn't be in this chair, because my job is to win ball games and to raise 18 to 21-year-olds. It's a media job to report and to give opinion, and it's the fans' job to bring the passion. That's the beauty of college football. And if you're winning a lot, there's good passion, and if you're not winning, there's usually bad passion. Yeah. And that's the nature of the game, and that's what makes it beautiful. So I've never had an issue with it. I've always thought I am thrilled to be the head coach here. It's a dream job that I've always wanted. Something really special is going on here right now, and these kids see it. The biggest thing I wanted, Mike, to be honest with you, is to have this chance to play this year and for people to see it. That was my biggest fear, is we weren't going to get to be able to play. People wouldn't know this team and the progression that our team has made with the young kids last year that are now older kids. And now people are seeing them. They go, wow, okay, this is going to be something really special. So we've had a great year, and it's finalized with, I feel, a really great class. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, so I'd be remiss to ask you about the playoff rankings that just came out, because there's an undefeated team in the Pac-12 that's not getting a whole lot of respect. You can give me a PC answer, you can give me a real answer, whatever you want to say, but is there an explanation for those two lost teams to be ahead of you?
Well, I believe respect has always been earned. And when we walked into the season, Mike, we said we had to be able to earn based on a resume. And our goal was to go 1-0 every week. We knew we were behind the sticks, basically having a shortened season. And we just control what we control, and that's going 1-0 every week, and add them all up and get to a conference championship and be a conference champion, and put that before the committee. Obviously, I'm biased towards my team. I feel that we are one of the better teams in the country, and we'll be judged on our resume. We got another week to go to build that resume, but respect is earned. Respect is earned, and we'll try to go 1-0 again this week, and see where we lie.
All right. Well, congratulations on a terrific start to the recruiting class. I know you still got a few guys to finish up on, but I appreciate your time, especially this week. I mean, people don't understand how busy you are. You've been up since what, 5?
I woke up this morning at 3:30.
That's ridiculous.
We had our first. Michael Trigg came across the wire first at 4:01 a.m. Pacific Coast time.
And you'll be in bed tonight at 1?
we're game planning third down and red zone as we speak, and going. So it's we could sleep after the season, but right now it's part of the job. You got to love the grind.
Yeah, and it's a good thing you guys get paid well. I don't feel sorry.
Yes, sir.
Salary wise.
No, I don't feel sorry for me either. It's a good job.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, Mike. Great. Best of luck. Thanks, buddy.